If you love MotoGP videos, like and subscribe.
Many MotoGP fans have forgotten some of the inventions and technological breakthroughs that shaped modern MotoGP. But without these innovations, MotoGP would not be as fast as it is today. For longtime fans, this is a reminder when these technologies first appeared, which teams introduced them, and how they eventually became MotoGP standards. In the past, the swing arm was considered purely a structural component that needed to be as stiff as possible in order to keep the motorcycle stable both in corners and on straights. However, as engine power increased and tire grip improved, manufacturers began to realize that controlled flexibility could actually improve traction. At the beginning of the four-stroke MotoGP era, all manufacturers were still using banana-style swing arms that thickened upward. This design was inherited from the two-stroke era, where the upward curve provided space for exhaust systems running underneath the swing arm. In 2004, when Valentino Rossi moved to Yamaha, the factory introduced a new swing arm concept, one that thickened downward instead of upward. The Underbrace swing arm was developed to control flex characteristics, maintain rear wheel traction during acceleration, provide more space for electronic components under the seat, and lower the motorcycle's center of gravity. This design became one of the factors that improved the balance of the 2004 Yamaha M1 and contributed to Rossi's championship-winning season. Suzuki followed in 2006, Honda in 2008, and Ducati in 2012. Today, every MotoGP motorcycle uses an underbrace swing arm. One of the most revolutionary engine technologies in MotoGP is the pneumatic valve system. This technology was first introduced in MotoGP by the Aprilia RS Cubed between the 2002 and 2004 seasons. Instead of conventional metal valve springs, Aprilia used compressed air to close the valves. The objective was clear: prevent valve float at high RPM and allow the engine to rev higher safely. However, at the time, the RS Cubed package was far from mature. Its V3 engine was aggressive, difficult to control, unreliable, and lacked overall balance. As a result, pneumatic valve technology failed to show its true potential. Later, as Ducati became untouchable in straight-line speed, Japanese manufacturers began searching aggressively for ways to close the gap. Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Yamaha recognized the potential of the RS Cubed valve system and raced to develop pneumatic valves to avoid valve float and mechanical interference at extreme RPM. Kawasaki's ZX-RR and Suzuki's GS-VR implemented pneumatic valves at the start of the 2007 MotoGP season. Yamaha continued development, pairing the system with a smoother and more balanced engine. Yamaha introduced it on the YZR M1 at Misano in 2007, but results were still limited. In 2008, Honda, initially resistant to pneumatic valves, finally adopted the system at the RC212V at Mugello, though with disappointing results. That same year, Yamaha successfully perfected the pneumatic valve system and went on to win the 2008 MotoGP World Championship. Today, pneumatic valves are used by almost every MotoGP manufacturer because without this technology, modern engines simply could not survive extreme engine speeds. With one exception: Ducati. For many years, MotoGP engines used a screamer configuration, where combustion occurs at evenly spaced intervals. In the four-stroke Grand Prix era, Honda, with the five-cylinder RC211V, had already developed an irregular interval firing order configuration. This was not a pure Big Bang engine, but rather a concept positioned between a screamer and a true Big Bang. Even so, the five-cylinder RC211V was extremely successful in the modern four-stroke MotoGP era. If you enjoy content like this, hitting the like button helps this video reach more automotive enthusiasts and supports the growth of this channel. Yamaha, after the arrival of Valentino Rossi, then developed the Big Bang firing order concept, which groups combustion events together to give the rear tire time to rest between power pulses. This was not a completely new technology in Grand Prix racing, but in the four-stroke era, it was a new concept. At first, this concept was considered to sacrifice peak power and be inefficient in theory. However, on the racetrack, the Big Bang configuration provided better traction, easier throttle control, and more consistent handling. After Yamaha proved its effectiveness in 2004 and won the World Championship, Yamaha consistently continued using Big Bang engines with a cross-plane crankshaft configuration. Other manufacturers then began to explore their own firing order configurations. Honda, with the RC211V in 2005, conducted tests of a pure Big Bang setup on their V5 engine, but this resulted in disadvantages rather than benefits. Honda later used Big Bang engines in 2010 and 2011, with Casey Stoner winning the 2011 Grand Prix Championship. However, in the 1000cc era, Honda returned to a screamer engine in 2012 before deciding to switch back to a Big Bang configuration in 2016, which they continue to use today. Kawasaki also experimented with Big Bang in 2005 during the 990cc MotoGP era. However, in 2007, during the 800cc era, Kawasaki returned to a screamer configuration because they trusted the quality of their traction control package. Eventually, Kawasaki withdrew from MotoGP. Ducati then adopted the Big Bang concept in 2010. Suzuki followed in 2014 after returning from their hiatus. Aprilia, at the beginning of their return to MotoGP, used a screamer engine in 2015 and 2016, before finally switching to a Big Bang engine in 2017. KTM followed a similar path. They initially used a screamer engine during their debut season in 2017, but decided to switch to a Big Bang configuration in the middle of the season. Today, every MotoGP engine uses a Big Bang firing order. In a conventional gearbox, there is always a brief interruption of power during every gear change because torque delivery must be momentarily reduced when shifting gears. The seamless shift gearbox, or SSG, often referred to as a seamless gearbox, is one of the most crucial technological innovations in MotoGP. This technology was adapted from Formula One cars, similar to how the pneumatic valve system was also adapted from Formula One and later introduced to MotoGP by Aprilia. This gear-shifting technology allowed Honda to become the first manufacturer to successfully implement a seamless shift gearbox in MotoGP during the 2011 racing season. With this system, gear changes occur without cutting power delivery to the rear wheel, allowing continuous acceleration even while shifting. The advantages of this technology were immediately clear. acceleration became more consistent, lap times became faster, and the motorcycle remained more stable when exiting corners under heavy acceleration. As a result of introducing this new transmission technology, Honda successfully won the MotoGP World Championship together with the exceptionally talented rider Casey Stoner in 2011. In addition to Casey Stoner's natural riding ability and the use of a Big Bang engine configuration, this seamless gearbox played a major supporting role in Honda's championship success that season. After this performance advantage was proven on track, Yamaha attempted to develop their own seamless gearbox system in the following year. However, for the next 2 racing seasons, Yamaha was only able to achieve a seamless upshift system, while the seamless downshift function was still not fully perfected. Ducati later developed and successfully implemented their own seamless gearbox system using a different technical approach. Today, the seamless shift gearbox has become an absolute and unavoidable standard in MotoGP, used by every manufacturer on the grid. This may not be a technology built directly into the motorcycle itself, but it represents a crucial operational evolution that many MotoGP fans have forgotten. In the past, MotoGP bikes were started either by push starting or by roller starters powered by 4-stroke engines, 2-stroke engines, or electric motors that spun the rear wheel. The first team to use a crankshaft starter was Ducati in 2009, when the Desmo Sedici GP9, ridden by Casey Stoner, adopted the system. The goal was simple: faster and easier engine restarts. Interestingly, this technology went largely unnoticed by factory teams for several years. The second team to adopt it was an independent satellite team, the Aspar team, in 2013 under the CRT regulations. Yamaha followed in 2016, and other teams soon followed. Today, crankshaft starters combined with electric motors have effectively become a new standard in MotoGP. Whole-shot device technology and rear ride height device technology are among the biggest technical revolutions in MotoGP over the past decade. These technologies were pioneered by Ducati's genius engineer Gigi Dall'Igna and ultimately forced every other manufacturer to adapt. The system was first tested at the Motegi circuit in 2018, together with rider Jack Miller. Then, in 2019, Ducati began using a rear ride height device. At that time, this system was initially used as a rear whole-shot device during race starts with 3 main purposes: to lower the rear of the motorcycle, to reduce wheelies, and to improve initial acceleration off the starting line. In the second half of the 2019 racing season, Aprilia developed its own whole-shot device system. However, instead of copying Ducati's approach, Aprilia adopted a system inspired by motocross. Aprilia chose to lower the front suspension to improve acceleration during the race start. In the 2021 racing season, Aprilia introduced a new system, the rear ride height device and an automatic rear device. Together, this system could operate both during the race start and while the race was already in progress, helping the motorcycle accelerate faster exiting corners. In that same year, Aprilia became the first manufacturer to successfully fully compress the rear suspension during the race start. Not wanting to fall behind, Ducati developed a similar rear ride height device system in the same year. Seeing this rapid technological progress, other manufacturers began to feel concerned as the development pace of Ducati and Aprilia was extremely aggressive. There was a real possibility that these two manufacturers could dominate MotoGP very quickly. KTM, Yamaha, Honda, and Suzuki only began using front suspension whole-shot devices in the 2020 racing season. Later, these manufacturers added rear ride height device systems in the middle of the 2021 racing season. Today, this system has become the final standard of the MotoGP 1000 cubic centimeter era. However, in 2027, when MotoGP changes its engine regulations to 850 cubic centimeters, this technology will no longer be used. Before the modern MotoGP era, 500cc two-stroke Grand Prix motorcycles still relied on carburetors to mix air and fuel. Although fuel injection was not a new technology in four-stroke engines, Yamaha stubbornly continued using carburetors on its early M1 models. When the four-stroke MotoGP class officially began in 2002, Honda's RC211V, Aprilia's RS Cubed, and Suzuki's GSVR immediately adopted electronic fuel injection as part of their engine management systems. Fuel injection offered far more precise fuel control, consistent throttle response, and seamless integration with sensors and ECUs. Initially, the system was complex and expensive. Suzuki failed due to chassis issues, and Aprilia failed because of poor engine configuration choices. However, the performance and efficiency advantages were clearly demonstrated by Honda's RC211V, leaving Yamaha with no choice but to follow. Yamaha introduced fuel injection on the M1 in 2003. Ducati used fuel injection from its MotoGP debut in the same year. Today, fuel injection forms the foundation of all MotoGP electronic systems and has become standard on modern production motorcycles worldwide. MotoGP evolution isn't just about who is the fastest, it's about who dares to try what hasn't been imagined before. These technologies prove one thing. In MotoGP, ideas that were once doubted can become irreplaceable standards. Some of you may not like AI voiceover content, but believe us, this video is based on our own research, not AI-generated information. If you feel there are details we missed, share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to press the like button so the algorithm can share this content with motorsport fans like you. See you in the next video.